In Game 5 of the first round of the 2025 NBA playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks led the Indiana Pacers by 7 points with just 40 seconds left in the game. In Game 2 of the second round, the Cleveland Cavaliers led the Pacers by 7 points with just over a minute remaining. In Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Knicks led the Pacers by 14 points with less than 3 minutes left. And in Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder led the Pacers by 9 points with less than 3 minutes left. At each of these moments, Indiana had less than a 3% chance of winning the game, according to ESPN's win probability, and yet every single time they surged back, and with 1 second or less remaining on the clock, Tyrese Haliburton hit a game-winning or game-tying shot in a stunning Pacers victory. Any one of these wins could rightly be deemed miraculous on its own, but 4 of them in one playoff run, each ending with the same hero rising to the occasion, it shouldn't be possible, right? In fact, the probability of winning these 4 games consecutively would be 1 in 15 million. Yet somehow, the Pacers have taken the impossible and made it almost routine. In every single series, they have done something that nobody else ever has, and they just keep doing it. They've erased 3 deficits of 7 or more points in the last 90 seconds to come back and win, while the rest of the NBA combined has 1 such playoff win in the last 25 years. They made more history in Game 1 of the finals, becoming the first team this century to win a finals game when trailing by 9 or more in the last 3 minutes, the first team to win a playoff game while losing the turnover battle by 16 or more, and the team to win a playoff game with the least time leading this century, which they did for a grand total of 0.3 seconds. And the historic accomplishments continue, not just for the team, but also for Haliburton, who has put together an individual clutch run, the likes of which we've never seen in a single postseason. He is now a perfect 5 of 5 on game-tying and go-ahead shots in the final 10 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime in these playoffs, while the rest of the league is a combined 4 of 24 under those circumstances. It should almost go without saying that Hallie has also made the most such shots in a single postseason in the play-by-play era. He's got 5, nobody else has ever made more than 3. With unparalleled clutch performance, he has fueled this Pacers team to the greatest clutch run we've ever seen. And if you need more proof of that claim, I've got it. Indiana's offensive rating of 141.8 in these playoffs is the highest in a single postseason with a minimum of 20 clutch minutes played in the entire play-by-play era. Their 8-1 clutch record in these playoffs gives them the highest clutch win percentage of any team to play 7 or more clutch games in the entire play-by-play era. We really, truly have never seen anything like this. But how is this happening? Is it truly just magic, or is there a rational explanation for this? My answer is that it's a bit of both, but there are a number of clear reasons Indiana has been so exceptional in the clutch, and they're not flukish. First off, despite some undeniable moments of absurd shooting, like this run from Aaron Nesmith against the Knicks, which technically doesn't count for their clutch stats since the deficit was greater than 5 points, the Pacers have not been carried by total outlier 3-point shooting in the clutch. They're at a good but reasonable 38% from deep. Even in that insane Nesmith stretch, Indiana's offensive process was good, bringing defensive weak points like Cat and Brunson into the action over and over. So yes, Nesmith shot the ball incredibly well, but he was getting good looks. In other words, Indiana hasn't gotten nearly as lucky with 3-point shooting variance in these big moments as you might think. Actually, the fact that they've been able to post a 141 clutch offensive rating with just 38% three-point shooting is absolutely incredible. And overall, their clutch field goal percentages are good, but not remarkable, yet their offensive efficiency is absurd. This is largely because they protect the ball ridiculously well in the clutch, having turned it over just 3 times in 33 minutes. And this is certainly no coincidence. Haliburton, who they largely entrust their clutch offense with, is the best star in basketball at avoiding turnovers, and Andrew Nembhard also protects the ball very well. This was the area in which Indiana improved most throughout the course of Game 1. In the first half, they had a mind-boggling 19 turnovers, the most any team has posted in a single half in a playoff game in at least a decade. The speed, aggression, physicality, swarming nature, and elite hands of a historic OKC defense completely overwhelmed them early on. But in the final 7 minutes of the game, Indiana did not turn the ball over once. They became more aware of the brevity of each window against this OKC defense and stopped hesitating or passing up a good shot to try to create another advantage, which would incur the risk of a drive into traffic or another contested pass, all of which could mean more turnovers. Also, despite very balanced scoring production, Indiana more specifically entrusted the responsibilities of initiating their offense to their 2 best guards, Hallie and Nembhard, in the second half. They cranked up the pick and roll volume for those 2 players, trusting the ability of Hallie to beat drop coverage with his touch shot making, of Nembhard to consistently get into the paint, and of both players to make the right reads and protect the ball. And this led to great results as Indiana averaged 1.32 points per pick and roll in Game 1. This alleviated the pressure on everybody else. It meant fewer coordinated touches inside for Miles Turner, who had really struggled to protect the ball against the pesky OKC swarm with 5 first-half turnovers. It meant less expectation on guys like Toppin and Nesmith to make plays off the dribble, where they had made mistakes in the first half, but as their roles shifted to more straight spot-up shooting, they were extremely effective. So with the offense in secure hands, Indiana was able to capitalize on OKC's defensive aggression, manufacturing a number of open three-pointers, especially in the corners, without turning the ball over, and their shooters quickly and confidently capitalized on those good looks and shot extremely well from deep. This is how Indiana managed to still produce 66 second-half points, even as they scored just 13 transition points all game versus the Thunder, easily their fewest in any game this postseason. And as the game went on, OKC's defense couldn't quite keep up their hellacious, ridiculously sharp level from the first half. And in 99% of games, a defensive half like that would have guaranteed them a win, but not against the one team that simply won't go away. So overall, that ability to protect the ball is essential for Indiana in the clutch, because on 95% of possessions, they are at least getting a shot up. And if you're always at least getting a shot up, you always have a chance. But there's more to the equation. Indiana is also the rare team whose pace actually picks up a bit in the clutch. Most teams' offenses can grind to a halt in the clutch as they revert to slow down iso ball and solely count on tough shot making from their best player. And when facing a big deficit late, which demands quick scores, other teams just aren't nearly as used to doing that as the Pacers. But regardless of the circumstances, Indiana continues to basically run their normal up-tempo offense with which they thrive, as they rank 3rd in these playoffs in pace. In a spot like this, down 1 on your final possession, many teams might get tight and call a timeout here to draw something up. But Indiana is at their most comfortable playing fast, pushing pace against a somewhat scrambled defense. Here, Hali is able to push, and with great spacing around him against a defense that has only just gotten back, he's able to attack a straight up one-on-one matchup and get to his right as he prefers to shoot over top of a slightly smaller defender. Fascinatingly, if you look at all of the Pacers' big-time clutch buckets in these playoffs, Rick Carlisle almost never calls a timeout beforehand, which I love because nobody is more comfortable playing free-flowing, improvisational basketball than the Pacers, and specifically Hali, who consistently manages to thrive in the chaos of these moments. This is the guy who twice, game on the line, has madly dribbled the ball back out to the perimeter to isolate a preferred matchup of his to create space to hit massive jump shots. It may look crazy, but Hali is keeping his head in these spots and punishing scrambled defenses. But overall, Indiana's ability to score fast has been huge throughout their comeback efforts. They set high screens that allow their guards to attack quickly in semi-transition or force a favorable switch that they can attack. And as always, they just get into their actions quicker than anybody else. They move fast, make quick decisions, move the ball faster than anybody else, and everybody on the floor is a threat who is ready to step up and make a big-time shot. This makes them not just the best offense in basketball overall, but a special sort of clutch machine, because as everybody else tightens up and adjusts their play style, the Pacers just keep doing exactly what they're so great at as they score in bunches. Indiana has also generated some extremely timely offensive rebounds, corralling an excellent 42% of their own misses in the clutch. This was a crucial part of their Game 1 victory, as Pascal Siakam was able to capitalize on the Thunder going full-on small ball by grabbing 2 late offensive rebounds. That was pivotal to Indiana winning the 7 minutes that OKC played without a center by 7 points. They don't win the game without that. So the Pacers are out executing their opponents in a number of key areas in the clutch. And then, of course, Hali is just a psycho. His clutch shot making has been ridiculous, not just in these playoffs, but all year, in which he is 13 of 15 on game tying and go ahead shots in the last 2 minutes. That truly cannot be explained by anything other than an incredible ability to perform and even improve under pressure. And there is an extraordinary mental toughness to this entire team, a collective refusal to go away, and an elite competitive nature and fearlessness that is special. So, they compete like hell, and Hali is just different, and the Pacers' offensive process, shot making, pace, and ability to protect the ball in the clutch has all been fantastic. But maybe just as clutch has been their defense down the stretch. You can't erase massive late deficits with just buckets. You also have to get stops, which Indiana has done repeatedly, as they have 7 steals and 8 blocks in the clutch with a 101.4 defensive rating in these playoffs. Their elite ability to apply ball pressure makes them unusually well equipped to speed up opponents and force them into uncharacteristic turnovers, and they make it exceedingly difficult to even complete an inbounds pass in a high-stakes moment, all of which is massive when a steal becomes a defense's only alternative to an intentional foul when they face a sizable deficit late. Bottom line, they don't win these games without some massive clutch stops and specifically turnovers forced. And of course, forcing turnovers gives Indiana a chance to play fast where they are at their best. So in basically every way, they've been flawless in the clutch, which makes sense because that's the only way to pull off as many wildly improbable wins as they have. This outstanding clutch ability is among the biggest reasons Indiana has advanced to the NBA Finals. Without a wild comeback in each series, they could have only been up 3-2 on Milwaukee or Cleveland, or tied at 3 games apiece with New York, or down 0-1 to OKC. But as we've discussed thoroughly now, there are clear reasons that isn't the case. Reasons that explain how Indiana keeps doing this. So as stunning as this run has been, this team is anything but a fluke. Since January 1st, the Pacers have a 47-18 record, second best in the NBA, only to OKC. A clear reflection of the fact that they've been playing at an elite level for a significant majority of the season. And, if you can believe it, the NBA's leader in clutch net rating this regular season was the Indiana Pacers. They are undeniably here because of their own merits as a great basketball team. Still, the task they are now facing against the 68-win Thunder is enormously difficult, but the Pacers are off to the most Pacers start to this series I ever could have imagined. Stealing victory from the jaws of defeat, stunning everybody on the opposite side as they just do what they do best: clutch magic.